I just got home from the theater last night to see The Last Jedi, and boy, did this film surprise me in a lot of ways. But it also gave me a lot of hope, and I gotta say, it's a pretty good movie. And, there are a couple things I don't like about it, but we'll get to that later. Oh, and for those of you who are watching who haven't seen this movie yet, there's a spoiler warning coming into effect right about now. Things I really liked about this film. Let me just start off by saying that this movie is not perfect, but I will say that my favorite aspect was the battles and the fight scenes and all the time with Rey training and all that. But another thing I loved about this film, Kylo Ren. My God, this character is just, he is so interesting. Like when he's going to see Snoke for the first time, and and we finally get to see Snoke sitting on his little throne there, and it's like, wow, he's menacing to a certain extent. And we get that shot from the trailer where he looks at his helmet and it smashes it against the wall. Well, he keeps doing that until it finally is destroyed. It looks like Vader's mask from the last movie. And he gets in a ship and he goes to destroy the resistant ships. And he looks at he's about to press the button to fire on the bridge, but then he decides not to. But one of the ships going along with him actually fires, and it's like, whoa, yeah, that's crazy. And I thought that was brilliant. And another thing I really liked was Oscar Isaac. Oscar Isaac, he blew my mind. Another great thing, I love Mark Hamill in this movie. I adore him. Like, I was really happy to see he was getting some lines in the movie. And when he takes that lightsaber from Rey, he just chucks it. And I'm like, the fuck? And speaking of Luke, oh my God, like the training sequences with Rey, it was like, yeah, he at first he actually refuses to train Rey, and then he goes aboard the Falcon after, well, Chewie breaks down his door, which is pretty freaking cool in my book. And he goes aboard the Falcon, and he turns the system on, and it's like, oh my God. And he has that moment like, where's Han kind of thing. And he actually asks, where's Han? And then you remember, oh, right. And then R2 wakes up, and he's really happy to see him. And he, R2, like, we don't understand what R2's saying, but we know what he's saying through the boops and all that. And he finally says, well, okay, I'm gonna train Rey. And he goes up to Rey and he says, at dawn we begin, kind of thing. And it's like, wow. So the first lesson was literally, it was just learning about how to touch the Force. And it was really funny that the moment when she literally reaches out, and then he has this little branch thing and puts it under her hand, and then he slaps it, and it's like, ow. It's like, it was brilliant. And then she finally realizes what he means, and it's not it goes back to what Obi-Wan said. It's an energy created by all living things. It's just brilliant. And then we have that moment where Rey and Kylo Ren, they're talking over vast distances for the first time. And this just happened after that first little battle, and you realize, well, the first thing I noticed was that when they first started talking, I thought, why is Kylo Ren half naked? And one of the people in the audience actually said he's ripped, and I have to agree. That was pretty cool in my book, even though they do kind of play on it a little bit, but I think my favorite part of that whole conversation was the second time they talk, they 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 touch hands, and um Luke comes in, and he tries to stop them, and then they have the fight scene with Rey and Luke, and Rey is just getting her butt kicked, and then she finally whips out the lightsaber and says, "Tell me what happened," and we finally get the truth. And it's like, I don't know what to think, honestly. And yeah, that was pretty cool, and I loved all the scenes with Oscar Isaac. I do like the scenes with Finn. I do like that Captain Phasma finally gets to do something. And there's two new characters in this movie. Well, three if you count the Vice Admiral. I'll get to her in a little bit. But Rose is actually, I think, the sister of one of the pilots that died during the bombing run. And you have that tense moment where she's on the bottom where all the bombs are, and she's trying to get the remote down, and she finally drops all the bombs, and then it just blows up. And basically, that scene was the space scene. The very first space scene was really cool in my book, and BB-8, he was brilliant in my book. Oh, and I gotta mention Snoke and his little Praetorian guards. Like that scene where Rey, she willingly gets captured, and she talks to Kylo Ren and calls him Ben, not Kylo Ren, which I thought was pretty neat. They go to Snoke's little throne room, and like Snoke is he's just toying with her, and Rey tries to take the lightsaber out from Snoke, but it whips around and smacks her in the back of the head and returns back to Snoke. So then she goes to grab Kylo Ren's lightsaber, and she gets knocked on her ass. And then Kylo Ren picks up his lightsaber, and then you see the other lightsaber, it's wiggling, and it's like, what's going on? And then Snoke's like, I can see your every thought, kind of thing. And it's like, he's really playing the Palpatine role here. But I thought that was pretty neat. And there's hints that there's a little bit of Palpatine there. Like, I saw lightning, and when I see lightning, I immediately think of Palpatine. But anyway, so the scene is so cool because you think that Kylo Ren is activating his lightsaber, but his lightsaber has a distinguished, a very specific sound. But then you see the other lightsaber activate, and it's like, whoa, Snoke got, like, he got impaled. It's like, holy shit. And then you had the big fight with the Praetorian guards, and Ben and Rey are just fighting back to back, and I thought that was really cool. And Rey's kind of in a bit of a bind, and then Ben's in a kind of a bind, and then you get Rey chucks the lightsaber at him and says, "Here, catch," and then he just turns it on and off, and then you think, what the heck happened? And then you see a giant hole in the guard's helmet, and it's so cool. And then afterwards, Ben's like, "Come with me, we can rule the galaxy together." It's like, really? That's where we're going with this? I mean, this is another callback well, actually, there's a callback to Return of the Jedi and Empire in this movie at the same time. And you just have that struggle between, they're trying to take control of the lightsaber, and eventually it just cracks. And Rey's gone at this point, and that leaves Kylo Ren in charge. And then we have the big battle crate, and I love this scene. I like the speeders, and Finn is like, I thought he was actually going to die, and the scene, it plays beautifully, and then Rose comes in and knocks him out of the way. It's like, really? But anyway, and then I think the best part of the movie, in my opinion, was when Luke what was going to the temple, and he has this little match thing, and you just see the ears, and you know it's Yoda. They brought back Yoda, and I'm like, wow. And he's like, wow. And I just thought something felt off about Yoda for some reason. I mean, the voice was good, and he had all that giggliness and all that, but it was the face. I think it was. I can't tell if it was CG or it was a puppet, but yeah, and that scene was really well done. And plus, the scene where Kylo Ren and Luke are facing off, and it's like, wow, like Luke is gonna kick some serious ass, and then he gets sliced in half, and you realize, well, what the heck? And then there's the other part where he gets blasted by all these AT-ATs, and he just stands up and he brushes his shoulder, and it's like, yeah, he's a fucking badass. And then he fights Kylo, and he gets impaled, and you realize, well, wait a minute, this isn't Luke. And it's like, what the heck's going on? And you see Luke, he's meditating. It's like, oh, so it's a projection, and that is cool in my book. And then I think the death scene of Luke, I think that was handled very well. That was really cool in my book. And yeah, that one was pretty cool. And it's like, so his last words are "see you around, kid." And it's like, uh-oh, what's gonna happen? And then he's struggling to get up, and then he just sits on that rock, and then he just disappears. It's like, wow. And the death scene was handled so well. And Rey says it herself. There's no pain or sadness. There was when he died, there was peace. And it was like, wow. That was pretty cool. And I loved this movie to death. It is so cool. I mean, so many awesome things. And I think the ending with the kid and the little alliance ring there, and it's like he I think he uses the Force to grab the broom. It's like, no way. That kid's Force sensitive? And yeah, and this movie, the music was composed by John Williams. This guy is a god. Like, Star Wars would be nothing without John Williams. And I think that is a lot of this movie is very well done, and I love it. Things I didn't really like at all. I really didn't like Vice Admiral Holdo, especially because she had this fake smile. It's like, I'm thinking, like, is she gonna be like a traitor? Is she like, I don't know. And then there's this big mutiny going on, and it's like, I don't know, honestly. And another thing I didn't like was, well, we didn't get enough information on like Rose, like what the heck's going on. And like, we do get a little bit of backstory behind her, but it's like, I don't know, honestly. And I do like the character of DJ, but honestly, the way he just turns his back and all he cares about is money, it's like, are they really trying to replicate a Han Solo without replicating a Han Solo? It's like, really? I don't know. Anyway, and one fight I didn't like. I thought there was one thing about the Finn Phasma fight that really, it felt weird to me, honestly. And yeah, like when Finn strikes her helmet and we see her eye, it's like she says, "You will always be scum," and then he retorts, "Rebel scum." It's like, wow, really? And honestly, I thought the humor fell a little bit flat on its face. There were some pretty funny moments, but otherwise, it just kind of fell flat on its face, honestly. Oh, that's another thing. The thing with Leia, like, why the heck was she flying in space and all that? It's like, really? Really? And honestly, I thought the death scene of Vice Admiral Hodo, I felt like that scene, it was beautiful. Like there's no sound, and it's like, wow, like should that have been like the death scene of Leia? But I guess it's only fair. But with Carrie Fisher passing away, I don't know what they're gonna do with Leia, honestly. Anyway, yeah. Well, that's my review of The Last Jedi. It's a very good movie. It's a bit messed up in a few places, but otherwise, I say it's a very good movie. And I'll see you guys next time. Don't worry, I'll be having another video talking about Star Wars eventually. Negasonic out.